get that a little bit, you know.
But MJ's not going to go drive 3 possessions in a row. It just doesn't look like that's what he wants to do right now. It's not the structure of the leadership that we have. Kofor could change everything, though. Maybe Kofor comes on the floor and he barks orders and everybody listens. Who knows?
Well, I am excited about his return, and I am excited that we're talking about a top 10 program, and I am excited for Leonard Hamilton and his staff that have worked really hard and transformed this program into something that not only wins right now because they've done that before, but wins in a way that you can be proud of and is enjoyable to watch, and now is a top 10. And I talked on yesterday's show, Tom, while you were away, that here's the deal, man, and you and I have talked about this together before, how desperately I want this for the university and for that program and Leonard Hamilton and those kids. Florida was never a basketball school. I grew up in this state. My stepdad's a Bull Gator. I remember Dwayne Shensis and all those kids down there. I remember going to when the O-Dome was first, all that stuff, right? Florida was just what they were. They were a football school at best. They, had underachieved the vast majority of their career, but they were more known, their existence, they had more known for football. Until suddenly, they weren't. Billy Donovan comes in and not only wins 2 national titles, but ups the ante. They sustain success. They get to Final Fours even when they're not winning the title. They have a prolonged period where they are a significant influence in the world of college basketball. And what that did was transform the athletic department and also what they were in the eyes of blue-chip players all around the world, but really all around the country. And they became seen as a destination, a place you could go, play big-time college basketball, get drafted, win titles, do things. So they separated themselves from their previous spot on the totem pole or their reputation, and they became something entirely different to the point where Florida's really not any good right now, hadn't been very good in some time, and yet that roster is littered with blue-chip players who viewed Florida as a place that you could go and accomplish all these things, despite the fact that they're just an average to okay team right now. That's because of that sustained success. That's because of that transformation of reputation. And that's what's going on right now when you look at Florida State, and we're part of it. So you've gone to back-to-back tournaments, true, but you also changed the way you play the game, the amount of skill and depth of talent that's on the roster. You've gone to the tournament back-to-back years, but you haven't gone one and done the way that number 1 seed Virginia did a year ago. No, you've gone into the tournament and won a game, advanced to the next round, and then the following year you did more than that. You went to the Elite Eight. If you go back, and now you're in the top 10, if you go back-to-back-to-back years to the NCAA tournament as a team of significance, and God forbid you go on another mini run, it doesn't even have to be the Elite Eight, say you get to the Sweet 16, whatever it might be, now you have firmly positioned yourself as a destination in the best conference in America where you can play top-tier basketball alongside teams like North Carolina, Duke, and known commodities, Syracuse, Louisville, etc. Now, maybe not for sustained periods of time the way those programs do who invest and have the resources to really invest in basketball and care to win in basketball almost more than anything else. Basketball, right? Got it. But you can be, again, if you're bringing in an Edwards, and let's see if they get him, but let's say they do.
Yeah.
There's no reason to believe right now this is about to fall off a cliff.
Right.
I mean, they're about to be a back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back type program, and now you may have successfully transformed who you are in the eyes of the top-tier recruits.
Yeah, it's an important conference season ahead. The schedule's tough. I mean, it's the ACC,
Always
so by
is.
definition it is, but the certain stretches you have against loaded teams, you've got to win your fair share of those to continue the narrative. I'd said it if it was just me, looking at the way the schedule lays out. Some of those, you have 2 games in 2 days kind of a thing. 9.5 for the ACC win total. I'm still selling us, probably a little short compared to our ranking in the college game right now. But, I mean, if you finish somewhere 9-9, 10-8, I think that's another successful season, and hopefully you're peaking at the right time. But what the ranking suggests in the polls is that we can win between 11 and 13 games in conference play. It should be interesting. But I think we're going to know a little bit more about this squad, especially if Kofor can get in sooner than later when we start with that 3-game gauntlet of on the road at Virginia, hosting a Miami team who will be coming here looking for that huge landmark win to get their season going, and then hosting Duke. That's not a shot at Miami. That's just the truth. You got to accept that now. That a team like Miami is going to come up here and try to get a win that's going to define their season.
Leonard's talked about that. He's talked about now you have to be willing to accept that we're at a good place. We're at a place now where it's realistic to understand and suggest that you're going to get everybody's best shot because you got number 10 next to your name. Hey, let's not forget Virginia's 9-0 and winners 9 straight, whatever it is to start the year. I mean, they're playing really well. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's just fun. It's crazy to think where we're at. But look, you're in a conference with Louisville, Virginia. Obviously, you think about North Carolina and Duke and Notre Dame and all these schools that are so tradition laden. And now we got to get used to saying, hey, we belong. And we're as good as a lot of those teams I just named, if not better. And the expectation is, like you said, to accept that you could win 10, 11 games in ACC play. You're going to lose some games. Look, the schedule has those days like you talked about.
And our offense does look bad enough that it would be vulnerable against any given ACC opponent. You go through some lulls like we have, I mean, you're vulnerable to lose to a middling team in the ACC. I think Notre Dame is more middling this year.
But I would
say
say
State,
this,
something like that.
Sure, but I would say this, Tom. I think the difference in why you would be right to ratchet up expectations, I think the difference in evaluating those stretches where you're not playing well or executing on offense for prolonged periods of time and how that's going to get you beat from last year to this year is that last year when you did that, you didn't play good enough defense to keep people at bay to give yourself a chance if you went through a 7 to 8 minute lull. You are currently playing the kind of defense, and he thinks it'll get even better, and I don't disagree with him because when Phil Kofer returns, you get better with his length.
You can play small, and yet you have a 5 guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or somebody who can defend the 5.
So what I would tell you is that you do play good enough defense now that when you're not scoring for whatever reason, you're going to still have a chance to win the game once you get back on track. And so maybe you don't have to fight to finish 500 in the ACC like you did a year ago when you hadn't embraced defense. Maybe now it's possible to, 10, 11 wins because you do embrace defense.
Well, for me, 10 wins would be fantastic. Like, if you look at the ranking, it says you should be flirting with, finishing at the top of the ACC standings. I think that may be a little much. Maybe Kofor does fundamentally change the way we look on offense, and we can revisit that discussion. But for me, it's great that we're number 10, but that would be a great number of ACC wins for me as well. And I think if you poll Noel fans right now on their confidence of an Elite Eight and where we are in non-conference play, maybe they're thinking it should be a little higher than that.
Southeast Missouri on Monday the 17th as we get into the crooks of the holidays here and people begin to make their plans. After that, it's North Florida, and then it's St. Louis and Winthrop. If you win those games, and you'll be favored in all of them, you're going to finish the out-of-conference slate, which, if, again, you look at strength of schedule, is significantly tougher than it was a year ago at 12-1. And you are going to head off to play Virginia, who's currently ranked number 6 in the country right now in early January, just after New Year's. And we will all be huddled around a television thinking this is a battle of 2 top 10 teams. Come get you some. Let's go. And that's crazy.
I think we'll have some sort of event, too, that we can announce in the near future for the Duke game. Just a small little get-together on game day. But that's a Saturday at 2 tip-off. So that the college basketball world's going to be watching that game.
Want to remind everybody a couple of things here, and we're trying to take care of business, and I have been awful about this, and you can be mad at me, but in the interim, without telling you anything about the bowling till now tomorrow, I will tell you that at Bumpa's here on Capitol Circle, as well as both Gordo's, they are collecting coats for kids. And again, we're talking about everybody from elementary school, middle school to high school. You're trying to collect for kids that just do not have enough to wear during this winter months and are waiting for the bus and going to school. And nobody wants to see that. And we're a giving community. We've always been great about it. So if you swing past Bumpa's or Gordo's, you can drop off sweatshirt, doesn't matter, whatever you can do, sweatshirt, jacket, anything like that. They're collecting. So if you think about it, it's holiday season. Maybe you're out and about, whatever store you're at, and you look over and you see a $10 sweatshirt. You say, oh, you know what? I'm going to get that. Just swing it by. Or if you'd like, you can bring it by the station, and we'll donate it as well. So there's that. There's the golf tournament that you and I are playing in. Let's talk about that.
Yes, it actually, because of the weather forecast for Friday, which is supposed to be rain all day long.
Damn it, man.
Yes, the announcements yesterday that the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is doing a golf tournament to benefit teenage foster kids.
Yeah.
That has been postponed. It has not been canceled. But it's been postponed to a later date. More information forthcoming from the folks at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Damn it, man. But those $75 checks or anything else you'd like to write to the War Chant Corner Pocket Charities Inc. Are still something that can be utilized for the kids in foster care. And we certainly want to help those kids. They oftentimes have to do without. So let's continue to help out there.
Easiest way is to drop by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. They're spearheading this particular golf tournament.
And, okay, I know I said it yesterday, but by tomorrow I'll have an answer on the bowling tournament. Because I know this. Whether we have the bowling tournament or not this year, one thing we will definitely do is to continue to collect the toys and the gift cards for the kids at the Guardian Ad Litem. And you guys have always been awesome about it. It's not going to go away this year just because they tore Crenshaw Lanes down against their better judgment and mine. I know they're renovating and doing stuff over there in the student union, but damn it.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. I loved it. But, yeah, so we're still going to do that, and I'll tell you the ways you can do that later. All right, listen, so Seminole Headlines is forthcoming. 2 hours of me and the fellas talking a lot about that offensive coordinator situation, but as well as the basketball and many other things in between. One thing to note here is, again, that was recorded this morning. If something happens in the next 2 hours that he's hired, then it will be dated. I'm going to tell you this. I don't think he gets hired today. So this won't be dated. It is entertaining no matter what. Good work out of you.
Which reminds me, coverage of the Coaches Carousel on 97.9 ESPN Radio, the Jeff Cameron Show.
Brought to you by
The Deck Pizza Pub, downtown Tallahassee.
This time. Yes, our friends at The Deck. Good stuff.
Hint, hint. Maybe they're the ones next month that we're going to see, but The Deck is awesome.
Yeah.
Neapolitan-style pizza.
Nicely done. All right, so it is. We wave goodbye for now. Turn it over to Seminole Headlines. Good work, Tom. Good to be back with you. Good work, Matthew. Good to be back with you. Talk to you guys tomorrow.